Hello, Flosstube. We're the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch.
I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Chelsea.
And Ronnie's already sleeping. And we're here to talk to you about our stitching this week.
First of all, we'd like to say thank you so much for everybody who's a new subscriber and our old subscribers as well. We appreciate...
And all the pregnancy congratulations for the pregnant one here.
Yeah, not her.
And
God,
I don't want to puke.
No, they were congratulating you on being a grandma.
Oh.
So we had lots of shout outs this week. Barbie, the pedal pusher, Lisa Abby's Needleworks, Lana to Last Stitch, she shows her stitchy stuff, and she did a Christmas tour.
Yeah, and she's so cute.
The Quilting Stitcher. And before we get into questions, we just wanted to say thank you so much for everybody who's joining our sales. It's exciting to see all the different floss and fabrics and everybody's different take on...
and everybody's progress. And there's so many of you stitching with us. We love it.
We appreciate it too.
We thank you very much for doing it.
Yeah. All right, we have lots of questions this week, so bear with us. Jan wanted to know, how do you attach your stitching to your wreaths?
I usually attach it with a ribbon that I tie on the back or a piece of fabric, and I tie it to the wreath so that I can take it off if I decide I want to change it out.
Diana wanted to know, have you stitched Prairie Seasons by the Prairie Schoolers? She'd like to see how they've been finished.
Those have been finished in a wreath, and they hang on my hutch in the kitchen, and they show up lots of times on my Instagram, my blog, my Facebook page, so you can see them there, and I change them out for the season.
Where do you find the sticky board that you use to mount your pieces?
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. Joann's has some as well. You can find it on Amazon as well. If you don't want to use sticky board, you can use foam core board and just I see people lace it on there.
We don't have any problems with sticky board. We use sticky board.
We love sticky board. It wouldn't be economical for us to frame every piece, so this is how we do it to manage our budget, so we can buy more stuff. Carol wanted to know, where do you get big pieces of Monaco?
1, 2, 3 Stitch.
They sell it by the yard there.
Right.
You can buy lots of different fabrics by the yard.
I think it's like $13 a yard. It's cheap.
Yeah. Lisa, there's Aida called Black Chalk. What's the difference between this and regular black? I also stitch on 14 count Aida right now. Will 28 count be too small?
That just might be what they're calling it. So you might want to ask where you saw if there's a difference between that and plain black. And if you stitch on 28 count, it would work out to be the same size as 14 count, because we stitch 2/2 on 28 count, so that it's 14 if you do the math. And the only difference would be that when you look at the area that's not stitched, the holes will be bigger on the 14 than the ones that are stitched on the 28.
Yes. And usually when they've marketed the chalk fabric, it has like a grayer undertone to it,
mottled with grays and
to look like a chalkboard that's been kind of wiped off, right? Yeah. Last week we had a viewer ask where you would find books or tutorials for beginners on cross stitch, and Stitching Is My Happy Place recommends Peacock and Fig. They're doing tutorials for beginners on YouTube. They also have a Facebook page that I have followed for a while. Sherry wanted to know, what would you recommend for a piece for beginners? I always recommend Lizzie Kate. So I took one out of my mom's stash just a minute ago. But this is very small.
That's what Chelsea started with, a small size like this. That's like a piece that ends up this big. So you could finish that in a couple days. And
I can't show you the chart, but the symbols are really easy to read. Not very many colors. They always have a DMC conversion. So when you're first starting out, I would use DMC just because it's economical. So if you have to frog it, rip it out, you're able to do so without feeling kind of guilty about it.
Or you can go to Pinterest and search free cross stitch, easy, beginner, and like a theme. If you want to do like a spring, you can just do that. We did that for my youngest son's girlfriend at Christmas time. We made her a little kit and got a chart off of Pinterest, and she actually stitched it. So we have another stitcher.
Hi, Paige. So Lizzie Kate, I'd recommend. I'd also, just something small. Hands On Design has her Year in Chalk that she's made. They're very small. They're on black or chalkboard fabric, but you could change it to any color that you wanted to kind of customize it if you wanted to wait for black for your experience. I didn't stitch on black for my first. I would stitch on something light and visible. All right, Tracy H, with all the winter pieces, Do you use a certain fancy floss or DMC for snow?
Usually what the pattern calls for, but if that doesn't show up well on my fabric, then I just dig through until I find something that does.
And we use leftover floss, so if we have leftover floss on one of our projects, you just put it back in the stash and you pull from there if you're able to. Trisha, not Patty, want to know, have you always stitched in hand?
Yes.
Laura, have you used instant tea with instant coffee?
No.
We have tea bags readily available, though. We used to drink Lipton tea. We've graduated to
Tazo.
Tazo, but she had a stash left over of her Lipton tea bags that we just throw in there.
Yeah, you know the cases that you buy at Sam's Club, so we got tea for a while.
And coffee now, too. Jennifer, how do you keep track of your floss? Like, how do you keep stock of it? Especially when kitting up multiple charts.
I try when Joann's has a sale to go and get a bunch, but I do have probably 2/3 of a full set. Chelsea's probably got a full set from all the stuff that she bought at thrift stores But for me, I don't like to put so much work into the
background stuff, like bobbinating and
no, like how much of this do I have or how much of that. It's just if I go in my box and I don't have it, I get it the next time I'm out. It's not a big deal.
Or substituting colors, so you can
you
look
can
up
do
the
that
color on Google and it'll have the color and you can
go to Google Images and you can get the color and you can
see what you have that's kind of close to it.
Or a lot of people have those DMC color charts too.
Oh yeah.
That you could, and then you could switch that to Fancy Floss. You could hold that up and see what you have to match in Fancy Floss.
Yep. Crystal and M did it from my Instagram. Wanted to know if you'll do a tutorial on stitching in hand.
Yes, we will eventually do a little. I don't know if it'll be a snippet that we add to a regular video.
Nobody wants to watch us stitch, I don't think. But we'll do a short clip of how we stitch, I think. Just sitting and watching.
I'm just waiting for her to
get back into it. I'm just waiting. I want to be the camera angle so I can watch her stitch. She says no. But yes, it's coming. Mm-hmm. Amy, what colors?
On that subject.
Yes.
This is our 3rd time for the video, so there were some misbehaving talks. Anyway, Kitten Stitcher did a video last week on YouTube. I watched the beginning part, and she stitches in hand, but she stitches differently than we do because she goes like the whole row of the color one way and then comes back. I do 1 stitch at a time, and I asked her, and she does 1 stitch at a time.
So she does half an X each time, and then comes back and crosses them.
Yes.
With Fancy Floss, they recommend that you do 1 X at a time. Sorry. They recommend you do 1 X at a time for variegation purposes, but that is another way that you can do it. So Kitten Stitcher on YouTube, she doesn't do it exactly the same way as us, but you can kind of see how you get the tension and everything. She does stitch in hand,
and even when I use DMC, I stitch 1 stitch at a time. It's not just for the Fancy Floss.
Yes.
And I hear everybody using the term Fancy Floss.
Hey, Amy, what colors of Monaco do you tea dye? Anything and everything, Amy. We just want to grunge up our fabric. So the point of us tea coffee dyeing isn't to dye the fabric. It's to kind of grunge it up, make it more rustic or
more country
farmhouse. Yeah, so that was the plan. And when you put it in the oven, that kind of
produces the modeling. Yeah, because you got it all crumpled up and then it cools.
Mary Ellen wanted to know, what tool do you use for cutting sticky board?
My Tonic Guillotine trimmer. It's from scrapbooking. It's a big trimmer, but you can use an X-Acto knife.
It's harder. So the guillotine trimmer is a little bit more pricey. She had it left over from when she used to scrapbook.
You might be able to get one secondhand though.
Yeah.
But if I had to cut the stuff with an X-Acto knife, we'd have 0 fully finished.
Or they'd be like this.
Yeah, or I'd have no fingers because I just have a hard time with an X-Acto knife.
Caper Chris, she dyed fabric with avocados and it shrunk by 1 inch or more. Is this normal?
We don't measure.
We don't measure. We just kind of go with it. But the holes, I would say no. By 1 inch or more,
it
absolutely
might shrink a little bit when we do it, but
because we're putting in the oven. When you did Rit dye.
And cooking too. But the Monaco is 100% cotton, so it will shrink. But when I did Rit dye, I could tell that the holes were definitely a lot smaller. But I think that there's so many chemicals probably in that causes the shrinkage. But I'm not sure.
I just had a Seinfeld moment.
I did too.
Glinda, are your plans to stitch farmhouse on one piece or multiple?
Multiples.
Beefly, what do you use on the back to stabilize cross stitch? And we use sticky board. Mm-hmm. There's like an uproar. If you don't want to use sticky board, don't use sticky board.
Yeah, and we're not telling anybody what to do.
Just
we're not cross stitch bullies. You use what you like, and we use what we like, and we're not.
She has had stuff that has been stitched since I was a kid.
And it's fine. And it will come off of there. I read, you can't get it off. You can't get it off. You can get it off. It comes off.
But if you don't want to use that, you can use foam core board and just lace it up on the back. And you can still kind of mimic our type of finishes using that as well.
Yep. Do what you like. You.
Yep. Okay. We're done with questions.
Okay, so today is the day that we're starting our Winter Wonderland stitch along for all of you who finished your 4 Snowfall or who just wanted another winter piece in the works.
So it's not a race. We understand that we are going quick. We had requests to start a new sal because people were finishing that Forest Snowfall so quickly.
And I was going to stitch this, so we suggested this, and we're sorry that some of you haven't gotten your charts yet, but
it is an older pattern. Yep, so it's an older pattern. We didn't tell anybody that we were doing the sal. Distributors didn't know to keep enough on hand, obviously, so they're getting it in from manufacturer and then they'll distribute it. So
Crazy Annie Stitching has a shop online on the internet. But anyway, she messaged me yesterday that she has a bunch of them in stock, so you can, and she said they're 10% off, so you can, if you haven't got your chart yet, you can ask her for the chart.
And you don't have to start today.
I'll put a link down below. She sent me a link for it. And I did decide to change my blue to blue corn.
So it's stitched on like a tea coffee dyed, and Mom's changing it. She's doing blue, and
then these are the colors. And then I'm using barn red for the cardinals. I just
barn door.
Sorry.
Can they see?
Okay. Yep. And I think it'll be really cute. And this is such a small piece that you should be able to get it done quickly. I'm not going to be able to stitch very much on mine because after the video, we're going to Black Cat Stitchery to get the floss for the first chalk on the farm. So I'll be stitching that.
Now this isn't all the colors. These are just the colors that she substituted. There's some DNC like white.
Right. There's 3 fancy floss, and then I was adding the 4th one for the cardinals. But
yep,
that's it. And then I have some finishes this week. So first, this is a redo. You remember I showed the Country Cottage Needleworks Cottage of the Month, and I said, it's been this way for 3 years. I think it needs to be changed. So I added an aqua gingham check border, and I found this chalkboard at Hobby Lobby, and I love it because it's tall and skinny, and it's got the chicken up on the top, and I added some greenery, and I just tied this on with jute so that I can change it out. And I put the stitching on with magnets so I can change it out every month. The chalkboard was hard to write on, so I am going to have to paint it with chalkboard paint, but I haven't had time. So sometimes when you buy the ready-made chalkboards, they don't work as well as when you paint them with chalk paint. This is Little House Needleworks Classic Colorworks Sampler Months, January, and I stitched it on blue instead of it was on a, shoot, what did I do? Oh, there it is. And I did the magnets and sheet metal on the back of this one because I ran out of washers, so I had to use sheet metal. And I stuffed the inside with greenery, and I actually had a piece from one of the Christmas trees that I was throwing away. I threw out 3 of my Christmas trees this year because they needed to be replaced. And I just stuffed that in the bottom for extra filler, and then I added some picks and a bow with 3 different kinds of fabric and ribbon. And I added the red gingham check to the back of it. I think it's so cute. And the colors all come in a kit with this, and you get the 2 months. So I'll be doing February and attaching it to the box. And my last finish this week is the Little House Needleworks Winter ABCs. I don't know if that's straight or not. Anyway, I finished this and I used the red ticking for the background. I did a bow up at the top, and this is attached with magnets and sheet metal so I can change it out for the seasons. And you can turn it around. I used a shutter that I had gotten at a antique store, and I glued ribbon onto the back of the design, and I tied it on here. And then there's a little chicken knob that came on this shutter, and I added a pair of skates. And I don't know if this is straight or not, but once it's on the wall, you just straighten it out because it's just tied. and it gets jostled around in here. But I've done the autumn and now the winter, and then spring will go on there too. So that's it for my finishes. That's a lot for being the second week of January, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, show them what you worked on this week.
Oh, this week I did some quilting. So you guys saw on my Instagram, I was taking pictures of my quilt. So these are just some of the squares that I did. I ran out of the white fabric, so I wanted to make sure that they had more before I assembled all of the squares. They did. So now I'm going to assemble all of them. We're going to do some rotary cutting today because I can't do that by myself without cutting off fingers. And I need those to cross stitch. Mom would have a field day if I cut off fingers and couldn't cross stitch on top of this. But I've got just a stack. So many wanted to know if it's going to be a baby blanket. I'm going to make it a twin size quilt top, but I plan to use it. We have good cameras, so we plan on taking lots of pictures of the baby, and since it's a July baby, these red, white, and blue colors will be perfect. Mm-hmm. So not a baby blanket per se, but I have been searching on Pinterest.
A baby prop?
Yeah, baby prop. I've been searching on Pinterest, and there's some quilt cabinets, I think is what it's called, but
Vintage cabinets.
oh my god. And they're just filled with quilts, so...
Yep, so I get 7,000 pictures a day. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need
Oh,
this.
many people want to know my Pinterest name. I think it is Chelsea356. I'll let you know next week if that's not the real thing. I've tried to clean it up, so I've had it for years and years, and there were stuff that I hated on there. So before I let you guys look at it, I made sure to clean it up. Just like when I went through my teal phase, we talked about that last week, and I had a damask. Is that how you say it? Damask phase. Oh, woo. Okay, back to farmhouse. All right, what do you got for this week?
Okay, so for Friday, I stitched on Prairie Schooler Autumn Leaves, and Fall Friday Stitching is the hashtag for Friday stitching. And I just love this, and I hope to get it done. So if I do a little bit every Friday, I should be done, right? Sunday, for Santa Sundays, Santa Sunday XS, I'm doing Country Cottage Needleworks Gingerbread Village, and I'm stitching some together and some separate, and I am changing the greens so that it looks more vintage. And these are the greens that I'm using. So Jolly, Holly, and Balsam Fir.
This green is a color that I'm obsessed with. Anytime we go to flea markets or anything, I look for kitchen utensils with this on the ends of it, like a
sifter with that for the handle, or a rolling pin with the green.
You know, and it's always rubbed off a little bit so you get the wood underneath. That's what this looks like to me.
But I wanted it to be more vintagey looking, because the original color is more like limey.
It has a lot of yellow in the green.
But isn't the rough cute? Ugh, so cute. And then I finished another one of the Snow Place Like Home. And I changed the border to be the white border like the first one. These are going to get cut apart, but I'm doing 4, and they're all on the same fabric, but I'm just going to cut them apart, and I have my plans for what I'm doing with them. So then this week I will start, I have had these forever, and they're all kitted up. I didn't use this blue, though. I used the blue from, oh, I don't have the bag in here, I guess.
Choose this blue.
Right, it's more aqua-y instead of turquoisey. But this will be the next one I do. And they're really cute. And they stitch up really fast. I did that in one night, and then I finished it the next morning. I couldn't do anything until I finished it. Also on Sundays, I'm working on the Hometown Holidays. This is the diner. And like I said, I'm hoping to get one done a month. So this is my January. I just have the snow on the bottom, the back stitching of the name, and then the tree on the one side. And that'll be finished. And then I'll start the next one.
And these are all being held in her project bag
From
Debbie.
Yeah.
And somebody had asked where we got it from. So we got it as a random act of kindness from Debbie, one of our viewers. I don't know if she sells them professionally. They're professionally made. The sewing is incredible on them, and I mean,
yes,
they're
awesome. Very
awesome.
nice. And I have all of my Hometown Holidays, and they're ready to do the next one.
These have inspired Priscilla to possibly make one. You know how that turns out. She'll be making 40 in a weekend.
I don't know. I got a lot to do. But then, since the January is finished, I will have to start the February for the Classic Color Works, Little House Needlework Sampler Months. And then that'll go on the box when February starts.
These are, they're small too. So if you're a beginner, these come with the floss and 2 charts in there. So I mean, that'd be something to do.
Yeah, and you would have all the floss that you need to do it. You would just have to buy the fabric. That would be an easy project.
I think that's good.
And the charts are
Easy to read.
right, so that would be a good idea too. But that's probably 2 or 3 times as big as that little Lizzie Kate that you showed. So
Cool. Yeah. Okay. And then you have haul.
yes, I was so excited to see that these have been re-released. They're from the Good Housewife, because they were like $50 or $70 a piece on eBay, and I've loved them forever. But I really think that these would be cute in a farmhouse nursery too.
Do ya?
Mm-hmm.
Better get stitching.
Or they just might look cute in my house for fall.
Well, you can take them back in the fall. Just put them in there for July for our tour, and then we'll be good.
So this week, I will be starting, when we get back from the store today, I will be starting the
Chalk on the farm.
Chalk on the farm. I almost said chalk for the home, chalk on the farm.
It's a learning curve.
It's cute, and
I think you're going to love it. Just so you know, she's sleeping. I just wanted to make that.
can you see her?
You could in the corner. We have a giveaway, though.
So, a few months ago, Crazy Annie, I had been talking to her about fabric for the chalk, because I'm always struggling with that. Because the Monaco that I bought that was supposed to be chalkboard was too much gray, and I like it more black. But she sent me these fabrics, and they're 32 count, and I can't do 32. I have to have 28. So I offered to send them back, and she said no, that they were mine to keep. They were a gift, so I thought that I would pass them on to you. So we are doing a giveaway, and we have 2 of them, so it's going to be 2 separate people that will win these.
They are 32 count Picture This Plus, Shadow Lugana and Shadow Linen. 13 by 18 inch is the Lugana, and 13 by 13 is the Shadow Linen. I'll take it out just so you can.
So what we need you to do is,
And this is a good example for somebody who's talking about the chalk. So it looks like kind of a chalkboard.
so they're both 32 count. What we need you to do is answer the question of which of the chalkboard designs do you want to stitch, and then you need to say whether you want to be entered for both, or do you prefer Lugana or linen. So your answer would be the chalk design, and then linen, Lugana, or both.
Lugana is kind of I just am feeling these. This is the Lugana, right? That's like a thicker fabric. This would be more comparable.
If these were 28 count, I could definitely stitch on them.
Yeah, because
they're substantial and they're not like flimsy. But since they're 32, I can't. It's just too much of a
time for that.
Yeah, my eyes are too old for that.
Oh gosh. Okay, so once again, recap. Put in the comments what chalk piece you want to stitch and which one you'd like to be entered for.
Or both.
Or if you want to do both, if you don't care which one you get, that's fine
Linen,
too.
Lugana, both. Chalk design. And don't mention giveaway, and we will pick 2 winners next week, and we will get these sent out to you, so hopefully you can stitch chalk design. Also, what else was, I also got a message from Amy at Down Sunshine Lane that she's had a lot of orders for the Lizzie Kate Christmas rules and Halloween rules, and she has heard that people say it's, so expensive to buy the whole set at one time. They have to do them separately. She's offering 20% off if you buy the whole set of both of them. The only bad thing is that you have to get your order in by Monday morning, because she has to send her order in by Monday afternoon. So if you think that you want to stitch the Christmas rules or the Halloween rules, those are both on my blog finished up, and Chelsea was stitching the Halloween rules and she only had a little bit left to go. So
yeah,
but we'll put a link down below if you think that you want to get the
whole
Christmas
set.
rules or the Halloween rules at 20% off.
Okay.
And then also down there will be the Winter Wonderland from Crazy Annie's. She's offering it 10% off. So you guys are just getting all the deals. I think I paid full price.
Go back and order one now.
Yeah.
All right. So, I think we're done. There will be a stitching video shortly. We'll get it to you guys. I'll just come sneak attack and film her one night when she's sitting with Ronnie stitching.
Oh, jeez. If you get your inspiration from us, please tag us, tag my blog, tag my Facebook page. Let everyone know where you got your inspiration for your finishing. And if you're stitching with us, please use the hashtags. Hashtags so we can see it, because we love seeing them.
The
like
list
I said,
will be
I
below.
spend half an hour a day. Like. And thank you
love
so
them
much
all.
for stitching. And so many of you have finished the 4 Snowfall already.
That was quick.
Yeah, there was people that finished before me, and I thought I was quick.
Yeah. And that's why
we're
starting
still
this
seeing
out.
Lantern Lanes, and there's still a lot of people doing the PC hometown holidays. And all of our hashtags will be listed below, along with links to our Instagram, Facebook, and blog at Priscilla Blaine, at Chelsea306 on Instagram, at Priscilla's2000 on Facebook, and Priscilla's2000.blogspot.com for the blog. And there's pictures of the ABC winter on the blog right now.
Winter alphabet.
Right.
And then the other ones will be up shortly.
So hopefully we didn't forget anything.
We probably did. We've done this 52 times this morning, it feels like.
And we are going to be off to Black Cat Stitchery to buy some floss.
All right, see you next week.
Bye.